There's only one thing that I love more than the lightning talks, and it's the innovation challenge. Because the innovation challenge allowed us to help and support amazing projects around the world. And today, don't take me for granted. Just listen to these four amazing projects that will introduce you to what they did, what they learned, and everything in these lightning talks. And I'm going to introduce first Sudhira HS from Gubbi Labs, who's going to talk us through their project.
Yes. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm really glad to be here, I guess. Yeah. So our project was on using AI for science communication, basically amplifying science communication. So imagine this, like for any science journalist, what's the key challenge to kind of write a science story based on a published research paper? So it will also require any science journalist not like sort of to be expert in multiple domains, like be it astrophysics or something to do with some new species discovery or something to do with chemical sciences or bunch of things. So across sciences and engineering. So not all journalists would be kind of trained to kind of look at all domains. So how long does it take, do you think, to kind of write, come up with a new story based on a published research paper for like even like science communicators who are postgraduates, possibly even in science or engineering? So typically our team, like with about 30-40 freelance writers, we would still take about 6 to 7 days to come up with a draft, because one has to really go through that, understand the paper and then see what could you write, because going through a new research paper is quite challenging. So what we really set out was like to see how we can reduce the turnaround time. So I represent Gubbi Labs and one of our science initiatives is on science communication, which is called Research Matters. We write popular stories in India based on published research in India in English and a couple more Indian languages. Researchmatters.in is the website where you can find stories from our portal there. So essentially what we ended up doing is looking at through bunch of research papers that comes through, like from India alone, every week we have over 3,000, or sorry, every month you have over 3,000 publications that get published. So the key challenge for some of us as editors is to skim through, or like look through them and sieve through them to see which one is actually newsworthy. So how do you go about doing that is a critical challenge. And something that we built in is what we call as a newsworthiness index, where you could quickly filter that out and derive at what could you prioritize. And then we feed into what we have come up with a tool called Babbler, and then you add the journal article as well as which is a PDF to that, and then get the story out and things like that. I will quickly show you what we did. So essentially, as an outcome of the innovation challenge, we ended up developing what is called as Babbler. For those of you who are into birding, babblers are a group of birds which are always talkative. So we think our tool is also a bit of talkative, because when you feed in a research paper, it's also kind of able to kind of generate you the news story and along with a whole bunch of collaterals around it. So we call it as Science Simplified. It's a AI-powered SciComm for everyone. I'll quickly run through a demo. We have it hosted on babbler.gubbilabs.in. So you have a dashboard to kind of look at what's all there and things like that. You have settings that you could kind of go change. So we have come up with custom prompts there, and you can update that. So we have a bunch of dumps that we have taken, and so you could kind of, you have a dashboard of these papers to kind of sieve through that. I could do a search, like if I'm interested in climate change, just pick papers from climate change. I can get that and see what's the new paper. And I also have it across publishers, affiliations, or we also have categories. So to look at if there are the things that are within those categories. So we have about 8 categories, and based on that, so what gets ranked here is based on the newsworthiness. So we kind of pick up whichever the editors like has to look at. So you have a sense of what all it is there. and things like that. So publication stuff, and I can go through this and come back, and I have a PDF of it. Then I can put it back to my workflow here, and we have the workflow status also reported here. And like the editors can like literally use this itself to kind of see what they're up to and have all of that ready. Here we've already uploaded a PDF, so it's already sort of generated, and then what we have also is like it also kind of suggests you some couple of titles to the story, and you have a WYSIWYG editor to kind of edit right away, and if required we can also get a kind of take it to Google Docs and all of that. So you come up with a bunch of things there. The other key thing is also it also allows us to kind of kind of take it to the next level, because in the workflow of our editorial thing that you also need social media collaterals, bunch of things, all of these are there. One could also edit and revise this, because you get all of those drafts right away. And then we also have something that we need shorter news, and then we also do it for multiple languages. So we've tried experimenting with this, but like for example, you have Kannada here, which is one of the regional languages in India. So you have the story drafted there, and the regional language editor could kind of go through it and see what all it can do. We also are able to
This Indian trial offers crucial data, filling a gap in global hypertension guidelines for South Asian populations. Unlike some previous studies in other ethnic groups, it shows equal efficacy across 3 common dual drug combinations. This empowers clinicians with flexible, evidence-based choices, potentially improving blood pressure control and reducing cardiovascular disease burden for millions worldwide, especially the South Asian diaspora.
What we also have is that beyond this, at times, so I can also kind of say what's the status of each of this. So it kind of really works as my editorial dashboard, and other content managers who are there looking at it and then take it forward. The last part I think that will come up now is that really looking at if I have one-off papers or reports from other sources, that I could kind of also get it onto the platform and then go in the same sense. So here I could upload a separate thing. So here this is something that we do, like if you have a special report from other research organizations, or now we have also been trying to look up with other folks, like sometimes you have reports from media, non-profits, reports from government agencies or from other multilateral agencies as well. So this can also double up there, and kind of we can really use that in those contexts as well. Yeah, I guess this is all we did. Please feel free to connect, and yeah, we're accessible there, and this is my team there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sudhira. A well-reserved applause. And now let me welcome Wagner the Alencar. He's the director of journalism at Agencia Mural de Jornalismo das Periferias, coming from Brazil. Bem-vindo.
Thank you. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. I'm Wagner de Alencar. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, and I'm a journalist and the co-founder of Agencia Mural, which is a nonprofit news organization dedicated to cover the marginalized communities in the greater São Paulo. So our mission is to reduce the stereotypes about these areas, which are often associated to negative things, and also provide them like verified and quality information. So today I'm gonna present you the project we created and developed from the support of JournalismAI. This is a system for distributing useful and public information to people who live in these areas. I lived, for example, in the largest favela Islam in São Paulo, where live more than 100,000 people. So how it works? We created a bot that goes to the public information. We started with CETESB, which is a public organization which provides content about environment. So the idea is to understand how can we collect this data, the data about air quality, So every 2 hours, the system gathers this information, and we publish it on our website. This system, this robot, transforms into simple and clear content, and we publish on our website, and also prepared this to send through WhatsApp. Before launch that, we made a survey with more than 400 people in the metropolitan area of São Paulo to understand their needs. And 9% of them said that they were interested in content about environmental. And also more than 70% said they wanted to receive that through WhatsApp. We started this project with five different communities in the metropolitan area. São Paulo is huge. Just the capital has 12 million people. In the metropolitan area, 21 million people. So in these 5 places, we're talking about 3 million people, for example. We have explored different formats. As I mentioned, we publish this automatically to on our website. But here you can see how this is distributed through our WhatsApp. And here is the page where we published on our website. So we put like different colors to differentiate the publication when it's made by AI. So we have like short audios. We also use infographics. We make sure that our AI policy is in this spotlight, and we use like simple language to talk about it. But we are talking about AI, but for us, the in-person element was the most important. We are talking about people who live in the marginalized communities. So as part of our work, we have local correspondents who live in the areas where they live and report on. So we created like in-person events to promote this initiative. So as I mentioned, we launched it in 5 different places. So we created like 5 different events. So went to train stations to talk to people in person, to show how the project works, to give them like a printed newspaper with some of the articles that we have published, and to connect the people with the local correspondent. So the in-person element was mandatory for us to make this project, to create this project. So as you can see here, this is the printed version, and we also have the QR code, so people could access the QR code and register to receive this content. And some lessons that we learned. Meet people where they are. So we knew in Brazil, if you don't use WhatsApp, you are like an ET. So people are there, and people want to receive content from there. Here we have some images from one of the events we promoted in Osasco, which is a city in the metropolitan area of São Paulo. It's very, very interesting because we mobilize our team, and we approach people in person. It was very, very important to us. And going back to the lessons we learned, So constraining AI to protect accuracy. So the human element is also important to check all this content before publish it. And pair tech with presency. So here you show how important it is to be with people. And what's next? We are trying to use this project to scale all the topics like job opportunities, vaccines campaigns, and other things. Thank you, and as we say in Portuguese, obrigado.
Obrigada, Wagner. So now we have Andy Dudfield. He's the head of AI at Full Fact.
Hey, everybody. I am a human who can control things. So I am Andy, and I work for Full Fact. Let's do a quick show of hands. Who has heard of Full Fact? Most of you, not all of you. I work for Full Fact. We're a very cool fact-checking charity based in the UK, and we think that we need a better information environment, and we're campaigning to make sure that people can trust the information that they see to help them make the choices about the world we live in. And I'm here to talk to you about a project that we have been working on, and I'm going to tell you a bit of a story, because I think that's probably the easiest way to engage with the stuff that we're looking at today. So let's go all the way back to 2024. And in 2024, there was an election in the UK, and that is the focus of our work. Keir Starmer, this man was trying to get elected. He was elected, sorry, spoilers. And to get elected, parties in the UK, they publish a manifesto. So a manifesto is the document where they outline all the things that they intend to do when they are elected into government. And I started writing what manifestos are and why they're difficult and why they're complicated and why it was an important focus for this project. But let's try and distill this down into the real world. Labour published a 136-page PDF. Politics is complicated, and I am busy. So they had all of these things that they said they were going to do, and we wanted to understand, were they going to do them? And we wanted to understand, were they going to do them over a long period of time? So over the life of Parliament, when somebody is saying they're going to do lots of different things, how can we keep track of that? Because something that you say in 2024 is going to change because the world changes, the context around stuff changes, the way that policies are developed means that it's not just exactly what they said they would do, things will change. So we thought, relevant to the interests of this conference, can we AI our way out of this? And partly yes, but also no. Actually, we could do something that was better than that. And we could make sure that we use the brilliant people that we have in Full Fact to be more efficient. And this is a kind of trite way of talking about humans in the loop. We are a fact-checking organization. We spend our life thinking about information, and we spend about verifying that information. We do not use AI to do that verification process. It is smart journalists working hard. We use AI to help with some of the inputs, to identify the things to check. And in this instance, we're also using AI to try and track the progress of a political party over a 5-year piece of time and make sure that they have the right tools. So AI is an input. It's a way of helping us triage information to make sure that people can be more efficient. And we had a repeatable but boring task that we wanted to work out, could AI help us do that? And when we talk about we will use the one thing we've got more of, that is our minds. The we in this instance is a little combination of people. So it is fact checkers. They are the super cool journalists who work for Full Fact, amazing people doing great work in difficult circumstances. We identify 100 to 200,000 things we could fact check each day. And we've probably got 12 fact checkers working today. So that triage process is hard. So we want to make sure these people have the best experience. Also, technologists. Full Fact is very lucky. It has a technology team. It has a technology team that I'm incredibly lucky to be able to run. And so we think about all the time, how can we use technology to support the user needs we have? We're not here to do technology because it's cool. We're here because we are busy, and we're trying to work out how we can use technology to make our lives better and more efficient. And also, on this project, we're incredibly lucky. We worked with some amazing folks at Cambridge University. We worked with Andreas Vlasos, an amazing professor there, and his team, and some of his postgrads. They helped and supported our work in developing this. They are wonderful, wonderful people. And so, as we were going through this, we were trying to work out how can we make this process of identifying how a party that is elected into government is held to account for the things that they do over that period of time. And so we built a system. I'm now going to explain at a very high level some technology. I got told to be very careful about doing this. I promise you are in safe hands. There's going to be a couple of technical words, but we're going to walk through this together. Let's take a look at what we did. We took pledges. So this is a thing that somebody said that they were going to do when they got elected. We then tried to work out the evidence that was available online for whether anything had happened to do with that pledge. So had there been any changes in context? Had anybody made a statement from government to say that that was going to be updated? We then created a timeline of that information. So we tried to explore, okay, can we put this into a linear order to say this thing has progressed to this point and it changed or it adapted, but we can follow through that kind of progression of that particular thing. And then we tried to work out, has it been fulfilled? So they said they would do this, they said they would build this many hospitals, employ this many nurses, whatever it is. Has that now happened? And then we put all of that information together into a little process, into a thing that a fact checker could look at and go, okay, has there been any progress on this thing? Keep me updated. Under the hood, it gets a bit more complicated. So what is happening here is people are saying, okay, give me that query. We're doing a search for that. We're also doing some generated questions, so a search, but also creating paraphrases of those questions so we can ask multiple things. We're then scraping text from websites to try and identify that, ranking that information by what seems most relevant from the trusted sources that we decided we wanted to work with. We take that information, we pop that into a timeline, so we try and do some augmented work to work out when people are talking about last week or last month or yesterday. We try and contextualize all of that information so that it's in one consistent timeline. And then we try and work out, does something seem to have happened? Are people working on this particular problem at this particular time? And did it work? Yes. Feels important to clarify this. So did it work? Yes. It's a thing that we made. It's a piece of technology that we are now using routinely in our work. And it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. So in terms of the technical scoring that sits behind it, this is the right-hand column, the F1 score, so the precision recall. 1.00 would be the highest score, 0.76, pretty good. Higher than just a standard search result, higher than just using ChatGPT. Obviously, this is a very specialist task. I am not suggesting we built something that is better than Google. That is not what we have done. But we've taken a thing that makes sense for us, the thing that we were trying to do, and we used the technology to try and just make sure that one repeatable task we had was going to work in the way that we needed it to. And the outcome, my final slide is missing, so I'll say the outcome is that that stuff sits on our site. So if you go to the Full Fact website and look at our pledge tracker page, you can see an open collection of all of the work that we've done to follow the hundreds of pledges that the Labour Party have made and work out how they're being upheld. And that's something that fact-checking does. It doesn't look at the individual claims. As the only thing it does, it looks at the systems, the processes that sit around that. And this is how one of the systems we'll be using to ensure that people are held to account. And we're a fact checker. That's an important thing. We're independent and we are a charity. And if I could say one thing, fact checking is under attack from a lot of people at the moment, and it is incredibly important. So please, please, please consider, if you're a funder in this system, you people who support this ecosystem, we need support to ensure that we continue to do work like this. I have to dash off almost immediately after this, but there's a couple of people from Full Fact. Can you just raise your hands? They will answer all of your questions. I am outsourcing it to these two wonderful people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, and last but not least, we have Marta Martínez Mora. She's an ML engineer at Newtral, coming from Spain.
Okay, hi. I'm Marta, and as Anna said, I'm a machine learning engineer, so I think I'm quite more of a techie profile, but I'll be sure to explain everything as good as I can. Well, Newtral is a Spanish media company that we're focusing on fact-checking and fighting disinformation. So all of these years, we've been focused on building AI tools for journalists and fact-checkers so we can make their job kind of easier. So because of this innovative focus, we created TrueFlag. That's the technology spin-off in which we hope to explore AI and how it can help us fight disinformation. So First, I wanted to give you some context about why we built FactFlow, why we thought this tool was needed. And to paint the picture, last week marks 1 year since the Valencia floods, so that's the area where I am. And I can assure you that in those days we kind of lived a lot of fear and chaos, and part of this atmosphere was fueled by the large amount of fake news and disinformation that circulated on social media, particularly on Telegram, because some of you may know it has become like a key space for disinformation, mainly because of its nature, since the application doesn't have like direct moderation mechanism, and also it doesn't allow you to search like specific keywords as other social media platforms do. So finding these type of stories and communities that spread disinformation on Telegram is more of an artisan job even, and it's really time consuming for journalists. So in this context emerges FactFlow. Basically, it's an AI tool thought to detect and monitor disinformation on Telegram. One of its key things is to detect suspicious channels, what we call our gray web. The other thing is that it's based on prevention as well, since it alerts fact-checkers when a dangerous narrative is becoming viral. And also it's community-based because it's made by us fact-checkers, and it's made for fact-checkers. So to show you kind of a basic flow of FactFlow, I'm going to show you a demo. Okay, is it playing? Yes. So here we can see at content level information in the main page, the messages published, and also some rich data like the published date or the views it has, and some filters, so keyword filters, language filters, date filters, etc. But the most interesting filter here, I think, it's the suspicious content. So what this does is actually like it filters out contents and shows you only the ones that we found they had disinformation patterns. So even they highlight the disinformation patterns we found are highlighted there in red. And if you hover over the tag, you can see the reasoning the model gave us, then led him to the decision that it was a type of disinformation. You can also add more disinformation patterns if you found those in the content. And this, together with the fact that you can upvote or downvote the prediction of the model, is what helped us later to fine-tune and to improve the model. So from here, fact-checkers can also classify the content and attach it a fact-checking article, so to kind of verify the content itself. And this is stored on the archive. So at content level, we have every classification, and then those are grouped with the fact-checking article that generated those classifications. So here the fact-checker can see the impact that the fact-checking article has had, how many contents has it verified. The last part of FactFlow is the gray web page. Here we can see the suspicious channels that we already added to our feed, some of the recommended channels that the tool recommends that are similar to the ones we had, and some that we discarded. So this is basically like the main functionalities of FactFlow right now. The main like concepts that brought this to life are, well, here the formatting got a bit crazy. But the thing is that we parted from a list of suspicious channels that the fact-checkers gave us. And with our own algorithm, what we did is to expand to similar channels. So we had almost like 2,000 suspicious channels, the gray web, and we gathered the messages from those channels. So with that, what we actually did was train a model to understand disinformation patterns and to point out some contents that maybe were toxic or were carrying dangerous narratives. So from that, what we did actually is to build an MVP, automate everything, and keep it working at our newsroom so fact-checkers can test it. So this is everything we've done so far, but what we have in mind, some things that we want to tackle next are a feature that we call stacks. So the fact that you can group contents by its semantic similarity. So fact checkers can have a group of context under the same verification, so don't have to repeat the process all over again. Also, we've built this this tool in a kind of modular way. So right now it's verifying, or it's analyzing, not verifying, as Andrew said before. Those things are the journalists and fact checkers are their main task. But yeah, we're analyzing text message from Telegram, but the idea is to be able to analyze images, videos, and from other social media platforms as well. And right now, the most important thing, like the impact it has had already on our newsroom, is that we've monitored more than 7,000 channels, 10 million messages, and fact checkers have tried the tool. And for some tasks like identifying suspicious contents and the falsehoods inside those contents, before they took like 45 minutes or even hours to do that. And with FactFlow, it has only taken them like, I don't know, 1 minute or a second. So it's a decrease of the time spent in those tasks, so they can focus more on fact-checking the actual information. Also, it's easy to discover new sources as they communicated, and that's also the true potential of the tool, to be able to expand and find other not trustworthy sources. So yeah, that's the impact itself. So if some of you want to collaborate also, it's what I said of a tool built for fact checkers truly. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's perfect and just on time.